Mic check 1 2 1 2. What it do? Are you distracted? Let's talk about it. Welcome back to the Hood to Hooded podcast. Hold on. Welcome to the Hood to Hooded podcast, guys. I am your host, Dr. Cheetah's Sunflower. And today we got a juicy topic for you. We are talking about dopamine distractions. We are talking about basically casino, the gambling habit that you have right on your phone and you use it every day, and it's called social media. And I mean, there's other distractions too, but we're focusing on this one distraction today. Okay? So if you're ready to tap in, make sure you are following, smash that subscribe button. If you don't catch me live every day, you got to follow me on YouTube. So make sure you follow on YouTube for the replay and all of that good stuff. If you have any questions, drop it in the chat. Sending love to my Niji, to the Merry Indians, OCO to my Niji. Sending love to our ancestors. Sending love to all the beautiful people around the world. To my beautiful autochthonous copper tone beings. Sending love and hugs to you and light this morning. Make sure you go out and get some of the sunlight. If you got sunlight around you today, don't be stuck in that building. Get you some sunlight. And today we're talking about distractions because myself, I've been distracted lately. I've been doing this consistency project for a whole year, and let me tell y'all that I have been failing miserably. And it's not funny to me. I really want to be consistent, but guess what? I realize I'm way too distracted. So we talking about it this morning. Dopamine distractions, the science of losing control and taking it back. Are you ready to take your control back and get rid of these distractions? We got 3 clear goals today. Number 1 is to educate with clear definitions, right? Number 2, we want to expose the system that is keeping us so distracted. And number 3, I'm going to give you practical control tips to help us eliminate these distractions and take back our life every single day. All it takes is one day to change your mindset. Yesterday I had that epiphany. I was like, I'm way too distracted. After a year of being semi-consistent, I realized I was doing too much. And why? Because I'm too involved with the dopamine loop of social media, and instead of being creative on the creative side of social media, I found myself more on the engagement, entertainment side, and many of us want to be content creators, and we want to have these different streams of income. And now if you have a business, which most people should have a side hustle, a business or something in this day and age, in this economy, then you need to build your audience. So social media is kind of like the thing. So I wanted to get rid of it, but I can't. So why not control it versus having it control you, your day, your life, and your time? Okay? So we're going to get into these dopamine distractions. Let me pull up.
Come on now. Dr. Sean. Yeah. Dr. Sean is always live. Come hang with the tribe. Good vibes. Yeah, we rise every time. Positive energy. Grow every day. We make a way. Yeah, we make a way. That's right. Say it again.
Alright, tell me how y'all feel about distractions in the comments. Do you feel like you've been distracted like me, or am I the only one? And I know I can't be the only one. I know I can't be the only one. Why would that not? I just know I can't be the only one. So that's what we getting into this morning. And let's get clinical for a second. Before we get started, let's really take it clinical for a second. All right? Because right now, what you're experiencing isn't random. It's neurological. It really goes down to the cellular level. It's psychological. It really goes down to the mental level. The amount of distractions that we face every single day. It is literally time to take your mind back. Do you feel me? It's time to take your mind back, right? This is behavioral conditioning. So let's define these words that I'm speaking clearly, so we are not just talking in vague terms, because everybody don't know these terms, and I want us all to be on the same page. So the first term we're going to talk about, which is what you see on the screen, is dopamine. You heard that dopamine before. So when you feel like you're distracted, your brain is crying out like this little guy you see here in the top left corner. It might be your right corner, but for me, it's the top left corner. Right? But for you, it might be the right corner. You see him, he's in agony because he's so distracted. He's not accomplishing his goals. Every day he wake up with, you know what I mean, can't accomplish his goals, right? And that's not random. That's behavioral conditioning. So what is dopamine? Dopamine is a neurotransmitter produced in the brain, right? I see you on Kick talking that smack, but see you distracted right now because you wasting your time being a troll right now. Go find you something to do that's productive. You need to stay in this class, okay? You need to sit right here because you distracted right now because you all up in my business. If this isn't a topic for you because your brain can't process it, maybe you just gotta learn how to keep strolling, right? Just learn how to keep rolling because you distracted. Okay? So, dopamine is a neurotransmitter produced in the brain, primarily in areas like the ventral tegmental area. I'm going to show you a picture of it. Okay? And we're going to see a picture of how it is released into your brain from the chemical level. So its role isn't just pleasure. Sometimes you can get overstimulated. So let's go to the next slide. We're talking about the dopamine reward system. So with dopamine, you get motivation. You do something, the dopamine is released. That feeling goes away. You want it again. You do it again. No, you're not making conversation. You're trying to talk So you need to find you somebody to play with. Today ain't the good day for you to be playing with me. Just stroll along like I said. Thank you very much. You very distracted and you all in my business. I got time for you troll today. I'm trying not to be distracted right now. So just stroll along, bro. Why y'all can't just mind your own business? Like, you're wasting your time right now. No. Don't try to change it now. Your energy, no. Okay? So dopamine is a very important neurotransmitter, right? But with social media, it causes it to be released all the time. When you stroll, you're getting constant hits of dopamine. Kind of like when people go gambling. Now we're going to pull up another slide to show you the pathway. I guess you could kind of see it. Maybe you kind of can't. But this is it right here. Right? So those little red dots you see, that's the neurotransmitter. inside of the in the synaptic vesicle. So it's gonna go out, and when it gets a signal, it gets released, you know, into this little area, and then it goes and attaches to the dopamine receptor. Now this is gonna signal something in your body, and that's what we're talking about today: dopamine. I've been here before. Oh, I don't know, K-Con. Maybe, you know how text can make it seem like, I just been dealing with a lot of trolls in the day. I'm like, are you a troll or not? So if you're not a troll, I apologize. But it was coming off kind of like trollish. Because you're talking about stuff that have nothing to do with the topic. And my thing is, if you're going to come to a live podcast, honestly, I got to just ignore things that, like, but today I just got a little aggravated. Because it's like, what? That's the first thing I see is like, what? We talk about dopamine, not my hat. Alright? The hat is irrelevant to the topic, basically, what I'm saying. So dopamine, like I said, is a neurotransmitter produced in the brain. Primarily in areas like here. No, I get that people chat. This is a stream. You could definitely chat, but, Okay. I mean, what does that mean? What does that mean, bro? What does that mean? Right? So dopamine, this chemical that you see here, is a chemical of motivation, reward, prediction, and reinforcement learning. So it tells your brain, like, when you're strolling, doom strolling is what I call it, and you're distracted, you're not accomplishing your goals. It feels like the day is going faster. It feels like you can't even, like, you work all day and you're distracted on the internet all day, and you're not being a creator. You're just watching. You're absorbing all of these different energies. You're absorbing all of this negativity or positivity. You could be absorbing some good stuff all day or negative stuff all day, but are you using that to create? Now, if you're sitting and you're doing CE courses, you're learning, that's different, because now you're actually focusing on yourself. You're waking up, you're brushing your teeth, you're flossing your teeth. You're not just waking up strolling. How many people pick up the phone and stroll to see their notifications before they go to the mirror and brush their teeth? How many people are doing that? And then you get into the chat and you cause chaos in the chat, but you didn't even brush and floss your teeth today. Digital halitosis, right? But in reality, you really may not be brushing and flossing because you're too engaged. Instead of being engaged with your own health, yourself, you're engaged with everybody else. You know what I mean? And the dopamine that you get from social media, it feels like a reward. No matter what side you're on, if you're on the creator side, yeah, you get the rewards because you're monetized. So you want to keep doing it until your brain is just too distracted and you need a little break from it. But if you're on the other side, what is the limit for you to say, you know what, I'm having too many dopamine hits. Every time I stroll and see something funny, chaotic, you see the news, you see propaganda all over the place. This is distracting you. It's constantly releasing dopamine. So you get in this signal coming out and it feels like you're getting a reward, but you're really not. Strolling, yes. Like when you're strolling on TikTok, these algorithms are created to keep you doom strolling. So many times you don't even see that there really is no end. Now they may be putting ends to it, but like you could just stroll forever and click this button, and before you know it, 3 hours has passed in your day and you have done nothing creative, like with yourself. You didn't, like, some people are excellent artists and they haven't drew a picture in years, but they definitely know how to make a comment on the internet. Some people are so talented and they could do anything. Like maybe like being an electrician. See me, when it came to college, like physics and math, that was like, oh, now to the kids out there, math is very important. You cannot do many things in this life without math. And math is so important to your life. But me personally, I don't want to say this loud, but I really hate math. It's not something that I enjoy. Like in physics, some people are very good at it. And I did get A's and B's in physics, but it wasn't an easy A and B. It was like I had to really like stay on top of it every second. You know what I mean? So that wasn't fun. Some people could just do this stuff. Some people like organic chemistry. They like learning about the chemical structures of dopamine and how it interacts with this neurotransmitter and the shape of it and what happens to the bonds. That class was a struggle for me. I pray every day to get out of organic chemistry 1 and 2. And then if you want to be a doctor, you can't have a C minus back in the day. I don't know about now. But you couldn't have a C minus. So some people, I just got a C minus. They had C minuses, C pluses. I'm like, y'all doing too much. Can you just please give me... Is in it strolling? Isn't it? I think you spelled that word wrong, but strolling, like, I'm confused. Are you like my grammatical error, like AI? Is it? See how you made a mistake? You know what I mean? Like, you know. Is strolling, I believe. Strolling? Of course it's strolling. Google it. No, not doing that. We're talking about dopamine right now. Okay? Dopamine. Okay? So, again, dopamine tells your brain when something is a reward, is it worth repeating? All these different things. So this is what happens in the chemical scheme of things. We're not going to go too deep because this stuff goes super, super deep. The next thing we want to talk about is influence. Because you hear that word often right now. So a lot of people are doing influencing on you. And maybe you following a lot of influencers. So you're being influenced every day. Not just by a couple people. Some people I see, they're being influenced by so many different people. So many different opinions, whether that's good or bad, but what is true to you without any direct force, Thankful Thursdays. What's going on? Thank you for reposting and sharing. I really appreciate it. Influence is the ability to shape an individual's thoughts, emotions, or behaviors without direct force. So when you hear people say I'm an influencer, that means they have an effect on you without directly controlling you, because the ultimate decision is yours, right? What? I just have to be like with you. You see me? I'm talking. This is me practicing being undistracted. Okay. So influence. So when you're getting influenced by people, guess what's happening? Your thoughts are changing. Your emotions are changing. And your behaviors are changing. That's what strolling does. So not only are you being influenced, but that influence causes you to release dopamine because something happens, whether you get excited or, when you're strolling, you laugh, or whatever happens. But this isn't a direct force that the influencers have. But when the dopamine is released, that's, to me, is direct. So it's kind of like almost direct. So if you're strolling every day, you're spending 6 hours a day just on social media or attached to your phone, this repetition, these emotional triggers, all this social proof. Now you being influenced and everything is changing about you and you don't even know it. Like sometimes I can just, well, what really prompted me to do this topic is I found myself worried about the Strait of Hormuz too much. I was waking up worried about what's going to happen in the Strait of Hormuz. And I realized, you know what? I need to pause because y'all got me way distracted. Like, it's just too much. That's too much propaganda. You're killing me. No, maybe I just got to ignore. Because it's just, it's giving too much. It's too much. So let's go to look up propaganda because we know what propaganda means, right? But let's just look it up deeper. So propaganda is the dissemination of information, facts, arguments, rumors, truths, or lies to influence public opinion, right? And it's often conveyed through media. So when you constantly see, the war going on, the economy drama, this drama, whether it's bad news, good news, when you see all of these things, sometimes people pay to have this propaganda in your face. They will pay for that, right? They will pay for that. So that's what politicians do. They use propaganda to influence you, to kind of coerce you to make a decision in their favor, right? So propaganda is designed to shape your perception and your behavior. And it bypasses your critical thinking and it appeals to your emotions. So a lot of times when you see propaganda, it's working on your emotions, not really your critical thinking. And I hope that's not like too confusing, but that's what we're talking about today. These different things. The dopamine reward system, influence, which shapes your behavior, and propaganda. How when you see something repeatedly, this impacts your emotions. Now you tied to the Strait of Hormuz. Every morning you stressing and worrying about what's going to happen in the Strait of Hormuz. That is propaganda. That's why people aren't talking about the Epstein files anymore. They're talking about something totally different. That's propaganda, right? So how did we get out of this whole little dopamine influence propaganda state? Yesterday I did my first distraction-free day. I took a break from social media and all the opinions of other people. Because people going to constantly judge you on this bitch. And they think you're supposed to care. Or you might even constantly judge you because you're watching too many people. Now you feel like you're behind. You feel like life isn't moving fast enough. Yet time going so fast that your whole day before you look up it's nighttime. The days are just passing. So yesterday on my first distraction free day, I took a challenge to only do my hour live, which I did yesterday. And then I took a challenge to not really get back on like social media, not engaging, not doing none of that until it was like the end of the day. And then I put myself on a time limit to engage versus having this constant dopamine hit like a casino in my pocket. Anytime you feel bored, you picking up your phone, right? Anytime. And that's not good for your brain. Most of us are exposed to so many people within an hour or within a day that, back in the day, you wouldn't have been exposed to that many people in like months. I'm not saying it's a bad thing because networking is a good thing, but if you're on the other side of it where you're just getting the reward release, you're getting the dopamine release for it, it seems like a reward, but it's really not, then you get tricked into wasting your time. I heard something yesterday that said, is it Gen Z? Because they are born into this internet era. They're born into social media. You know, I just heard a sad story about a young kid who took her own life because the social media was taken away. It's just so sad. So it really does. It's really like a psychological, neurochemical response. Something you really can't control unless you snap out of it and you really want to stop it. So me yesterday, I'm like, wait, I'm on here too much. I'm way too distracted. I have way too many goals and obstacles and challenges and tasks and things to do in the life. I need to go outside and walk and see the sun. I don't need to be like spending 3 hours of my day engaging. That's too much. Unless that's your job. But you know what I mean? Anywho. Okay. So let's talk about dopamine and truly break it down because it's often a misunderstood chemical. People think that it's purely like a pleasure chemical, but that's totally incomplete. Dopamine is released in anticipation of a reward, not just the reward itself. Now, that is very key when we talk about dopamine. It's the anticipation of a reward. So your brain becomes addicted to the anticipation of the reward, the expectation, not just the outcome. So that's why if you are on here and you're doing mostly like strolling, engaging, commenting, you're not on the creator side, then you're getting addicted to the anticipation of a reward. And you never get a reward for real. Unless the reward is that hit of dopamine and you're like, oh my God, that made me laugh. Oh my goodness, this made me feel. So something is happening in your body and you can't see it because it's neurochemical, right? And that's the key. So let's go to our next slide. This slide is a little too like deep. I don't think we're gonna talk about this. Not for this live, but basically this is the dopamine receptors and it shows genetics, addiction, mood, and schizophrenia when the dopamine is released to these different receptors, right? So just quickly, you can see some of the dopamine receptors. You see they're broken down into different types. You got DRD1, DRD2, DRD3, DRD4, DRD5. And they do different things, okay? So you can go and read more on these, but it's just basically showing that it goes even deeper than, just having the dopamine release, but it goes to different types of receptors. So if you're having this being released all day through social media, this is actually having an impact on your receptors. So something is happening. That's why it's changing your emotions. That's why it's changing your behavior. That's why it's causing you to doom scroll, because you're getting this positive feeling of a reward, but you're not really doing anything rewarding. They got you addicted to feeding the algorithm or, hitting a like button or doing these pseudo tasks that don't really bring you reward unless you're on the creator side, right? So dopamine is important in how the brain controls movement and it needs to be balanced. Too much dopamine leads to more movement. Okay? Too little dopamine leads to less movement. So it also can be involved with like Parkinson's. What's going on, Miss Rainey? Thank you for the heart me. Thank you for tapping those hearts. I really appreciate it. For sending the positive vibes. So that's with motion. So dopamine can even impact motion. So you see people who have involuntary movements or tics or things like that, that's too much dopamine. Right? And if they have too little dopamine, that's Parkinson's. That's the motion part of it. Now the emotion part of it, dopamine is important to the reward system, right? Not just the reward, but the anticipation of the reward. So too much dopamine, listen to this, guys, leads to euphoria, hallucinations, and psychosis. So that's why when some people can't get that dopamine hit from getting on social media, the kids get addicted to it. That's what they're talking about. That's why you have these lawsuits coming out against these platforms, because the kids get addicted to it and it causes issues. Some kids are actually like, they can't take it. It's like, oh my goodness, you took my dopamine away. Basically, it's like a casino in your pocket. That's what happens when you go to the casino. You'll get people addicted to going to the casino because it's like a game. So even for you now, you're not winning any money, but you just stroll. You going, you strolling. You get bored, you stroll. So back in the day when we were bored as kids, and people probably don't know this now, but we had to find something that was productive to do. Okay, let me write in my journal, or let me go and open up an encyclopedia, or let me go read, or go outside and play. Now it's let me pick up my hit of dopamine on the phone. It's right here in my pocket. Today, I challenge you to think about how many times you pick up your phone. All right? Think about how many times you pick up your phone. So that's what this is showing. So it leads to all types of different things. Your mood. So it goes deep. So when we're talking about being distracted by dopamine, I'm not just saying, oh, some people get more than distracted. They really can't let it go. It's like, oh, I got to get up, and the first thing I'm going to do basically is not brush my teeth. It's not wash my face. It's not, stretch, go drink some water, eat some fruit. It's not that. It's not just sit and meditate for 5 minutes, do some yoga. It's not write in my journal. It's not none of that. It's let me check my notifications. Let me get my dopamine hit for the morning. I feel like I missed something while I was sleeping. Let me look at it before I go to sleep. And no. It's too much. Yesterday I felt awkward not getting on my phone as much and not checking Facebook and switching from this, and it's just too much for your brain. I had to kind of force myself to say, you know what, I'm too overstimulated by all of these things that are trying to influence me. I'm actually being influenced, and it's changing the way I lead my day. Instead of leading my day with my goals, now I'm leading my day worried about the Strait of Hormuz. And I got tired of waking up every day like, oh, let me see what. No. Let me back up. If something happens, someone is going to tell me. Yesterday, someone actually told me, hey, did you hear? Okay, thank you. But for me to go and no. Yesterday was the first day I said, okay, let me try the 1 hour before bed. Put your phone on the charger, away from the bed, outside of the room, so you're not constantly picking it up. And then when you get up in the morning, you don't have to go out. It's not right here for you to grab. Unless it's your alarm. You know what I mean? But still, just try it. And you'll realize just how bad your dopamine addiction to social media is. Right? Not dopamine addiction, but you know what I mean? Your distraction is. Okay. Now I had another slide. Let's go to our next slide. The loop. So you get a cue, and y'all know the cue is when you wake up in the morning, you just automatically have that need to want to check social media. You check it, you get a reward, then you get back bored, and then you go back and you check it again. And then you just get into this cycle of checking it all the time. So I haven't had enough dopamine today. What? What are you talking about? Like you're. See, I'm changing. I'm proud of myself because I'm changing. So proud. But anywho, guys, so this is the loop, basically. But we have a different way to view this loop. Let's go to the next picture. So you can see what I'm talking about. This is basically conditioning, but the science version. So they did a study. It's called Pavlov's dog experiment, right? And you can see the dog before conditioning from the picture. Without conditioning or unconditioned stimulus, you have an unconditioned response, right? So the dog sees the food, he starts to salivate because he smells it, his senses, you know, this, he knows that this is food. He's hungry, he's gonna salivate, right? So what they did was they also had a bell, which was a neutral stimulus. So when they rang the bell in a non-conditioned environment, the dog didn't have a response, right? But during conditioning, so this is them training the dog to respond to the bell and salivate with the food. So now when they put the food out, they rang the bell so the dog knows that it's time to eat. So he starts to salivate already before he even gets to the food. That's why dopamine is released in the anticipation of the reward. So the reward for the dog is the food. So they rang the bell. So after conditioning, now all they have to do is ring the bell and the dog automatically salivates without the food. Do you see what I'm saying? So this is conditioning, kind of like what's going on with social media and being distracted. And we all are distracted. A lot of people more than others, which is why they will sit, and be trolls, have nothing better to do. They have nothing better to do. They're not creating. It's called loser behavior. Okay? Loser behavior. So, I hope this picture makes sense. So, some of you probably have seen this picture before, but it's very important to kind of explain what's going on in your brain. When you're just strolling, not accomplishing your goals, you're trying to get that degree, but you still don't have it. You're trying to open that business, but you procrastinate every day. You want to do something, but you just talk yourself out of it. You let the naysayers get in your head. You let the haters get in your head. You let the people who are going to judge you get in your head and talk shit. But I'm going to tell you something. You got to ignore them. You ignore them till they find something better to do with their time, right? You got to focus on you. You let the strolling get in your way. Now your whole day is gone. You woke up with the urge to just stroll and see what's going on with this person, that person. And I was following so many great creators, but it's just too much. Sometimes you got to give your brain time to detox from social media. If you have a business, it gets harder. So instead of deleting it completely, you have to control your input that you're getting from other people. So over time, your brain reduces sensitivity to dopamine. This is called downregulation. So what does this mean? This means you got to have more stimulation just to have the same level of satisfaction or the same level of response. So now you have to stroll faster. This is what's going on with the attention span. If your attention span is getting lower and lower and lower, that's why they decrease. Now they need 3-second videos, 7-second videos, because people's attention span is so short that if you don't keep the attention, it's gone. You really got this much time to gain someone's attention. So if you can keep someone's attention on you for that long, you amazing, right? Or you can keep your attention on yourself for that long, you're amazing. If you can sit down and study for that long, you're amazing. Because most people can't. Most people can't even brush their teeth for 2 minutes. Which is why we got timers on the electric toothbrushes so that people don't rush, because when you're brushing your teeth, you're doing something that's boring. The time goes so slow, it's like, dang, this is the longest 2 minutes ever. But if you're on the internet just burning time, it feels like it's going fast. So you need more of the stimulation. So they will have you is it auto stroll that they have on TikTok where it automatically strolls? That's another thing where they're releasing dopamine, you know? Or you're releasing dopamine just from strolling. For the same level of satisfaction you used to get from watching a minute video or long form video. That's where shorts came in. Just think about it, shorts. Because your attention span is already short. So you gotta have short videos. The long videos, you know, people not interested. They need a short video. Quick, okay, let me stroll to the next thing because my brain needs something else now. It needs something new. So just think about that. The variable reward system. This is where this becomes super important for platforms like TikTok, Instagram. It's called a variable ratio reinforcement. It's the same model used in gambling. You know, you don't know what the next reward is. You don't know what it will be. It's unpredictable. This increases your dopamine release, guys. That's called the algorithm. What should I put in your algorithm to keep you on this platform so you keep strolling? You've heard that before, but it's called variable ratio reinforcement. So that way you don't know what to expect, but you know something is coming down the platform. Down the algorithm that you might like. So the algorithm learns you so you can keep basically gambling but strolling, right? So all of this unpredictability when you're strolling and maybe you're shopping, we could get caught up on a TikTok shop, strolling and shopping. That's why I don't stroll and shop on TikTok, Temu. I can't. No. Because you'll get caught up having so many things in your cart. I know I'm not the only one. Your cart is full. Like, what? I added this many things to my cart? Just sitting there, but still in the cart. you know. So that's the unpredictability that increases with dopamine release. That's intentional, guys. Your brain is thinking, dang, maybe the next swipe gonna be better. Maybe the next conversation gonna be better. Like, let me stroll. Let me see if I can find something else. You know? And that's why they say our phone is kind of engineered like a casino. Right in your pocket. But you're not getting zero rewards. Zero. So the thing is, you have to spend 90% of your time creating and the other 10%, engaging if you're going to do this. But if you're like, I'm not a creator, Dr. Sean, yes, you are. You just haven't found what you want to create. Like I said, you could create art, you could create food, you could create a lot of different things. It doesn't have to be for social media. I'm just talking about the creator spirit in you. You know what I mean? There is a creator spirit in you. Maybe you could create candles, you can create a book, you can create courses, you can create digital products, you can create a business, you can go to school. It's so many things you can do when you are less distracted. I said less distracted. Take your time back. This taps now into time perception, and I completely forgot to move my slides along. Where we at now? We already talked about influence. We'll stop right here. Right? Now let's go back to this one. So time perception. What is the neuroscience behind time perception? So your brain encodes time through novel, meaningful experiences. Strolling provides high novelty, but it's low depth. It's not really a meaningful experience. Okay? So these strolling time periods, they're not encoded into your memory. It's just like a temporal compression. This makes your day feel shorter because your brain has fewer meaningful markers. You're not journaling. You're not getting into the sunlight. You know what I mean? If you just go to work all day, stroll all night, you're not having meaningful experiences. Traveling, getting out into the world, or calling someone on the phone, or just tapping back into life can give you those high meaningful experiences so your time doesn't go super, super fast. Because I swear, it just feels like it's already April 15th. Where does the time go? And as you get older, it feels like it goes faster. Does this mean you get more distracted as you get older? I don't know. I don't know. But it's something that we are discussing now. So you're not losing time, you're losing memory. Just think about that. Now, what about influence? Let's go to influence. So remember, influencing is shaping your thinking without force. So these things that you're strolling and you're looking at feels like your idea. That's why if a recipe goes viral on TikTok, everybody's trying to try it because we've all been influenced. It looked really good. I have to try this, you know? So this can influence your diet. This can influence what you cook at night. Just something as simple as that. Just think about how many times you've been strolling and, oh my goodness, I gotta have that. Now you influenced to buy it. That's the thing about TikTok Live and shopping. You're being influenced every second to spend money, you know, what you're gonna do politically, what your attention goes to during the day. Okay? How does influencing operate? Influence operates through number one, repetition, number two, emotional salience, and social validation. Okay? So instead of thinking deeply within yourself, and that's the difference, most people are like, well, I get influence to help me to be, better or whatever. But are you thinking deeply within yourself? Are you thinking deeply? Instead of saying, hey, what is this person doing? Are you thinking inside of yourself about what you want and your future versus, constantly being influenced? Now, everybody adopts to the trends. This is shaping your belief. People mimic behavior. They get outside of themselves, and now they have so many directions that they want to take that they are not focused. And if you constantly do this and you repeat this over and over again, you're constantly getting that dopamine hit from just strolling, feeling like you're getting the reward, but you're not. This changes who you actually become. So it feels normal, but it's not. And I found myself just from like this whole little straight of Hormuz stuff for the past month. A whole month has passed that they've been playing around. We're gonna do this, and then they don't do it, and then I caught myself way too deep, like thinking because they use your emotions. Whenever you hear war and all these terms and these outlandish like messages on the social media platforms from the so-called leader, it's like, what? It's outrageous. So you think like, I have to see it for myself. Let me go. That's propaganda, influence, and now your whole day becomes shaped around that fear. Thinking about what's gonna happen at the Strait of Hormuz. Thinking about the oil, the gas. This. It's like, you know what? It's too much sometimes. Let me just go outside, take a nice long walk, and eat some berries and an apple, and just do some normal, boring shit. Let's do some real normal stuff. Not fiending for what's going to be next on my timeline. Don't be over influenced. The next thing is propaganda. So propaganda is not always political. Sometimes it's that message, to get you to change your emotions and your beliefs. And why is propaganda so important, guys? Because it shapes the perception, it influences behavior, and it limits your critical thinking. So now, again, just like influence, you can't go inside and think too deep. With propaganda, it's going to limit your critical thinking. You're going to see the same message over and over and over again. Now you have emotions attached to the message. Now you're going to make a reaction. Now your beliefs change. It's like ads. Ads are like propaganda a little bit because you see the same ad 10 times. That's the one reason why I like Tubi for the movies, but it's like, goodness gracious, how many ads y'all gonna have? It's just too many. And it's the same ad over and over and over again. It's like, you know what? I'd rather not watch the movie if I had to sit through this many ads and be propagated to for you to try to influence me. It's just aggravating. But this is the day and time we live in. Everything is an ad. Everything's trying to get your attention. Are you trying to get your attention? Do you have your attention? Is your cup overflowing with self-love and self-motivation and self-care and, all the things that you truly believe and you think about critically deep inside of you, not what you saw on the internet. Now, why is propaganda so dangerous? Because a lot of this is fear-based headlines, and it'll get you caught up in the loop. You get this fear-based headline, the dopamine gets released. Now you want to know what's going on next. You get another you see what I'm saying? Constant outrage cycles, constantly having outraging content on your timeline, fighting and, arguing and just drama, not healthy. Another thing is idealized lifestyles that are just like so perfect when you're strolling. You can get caught up in that. It's just different type of content that can get you caught up in it, and now you're not critically thinking on your own, right? And our brain is going to prioritize emotions over logical content because fear is going to spread a lot faster than facts. And you guys know that fear, negativity, all these things spread faster than facts because they play on more dopamine. More people are going to, oh, this is what I was looking for. This is a drama I needed in my life. Sometimes I'm like, what? Let me step back from dentistry. I need to watch something that's, drama-fied for a second. But not every day, not all day, That can be overkill, overexposure. So when you have all this propaganda, all of this influence coming into your timeline, all these different things on your brain, you going to sleep with the phone. You got the phone on your hip, on your desk, in your ear, in your eyes. They trying to put the information in the eyeglasses now. I went to a store in New York City, and I think it's like you can see on your eyeglasses what's on your phone. It's just too much sometimes. It's like, and I thought it was cool, but it's like, yesterday I felt it was overexposure. Just having too much on your timeline. And it's not you. This is done by design. So if you're not careful, you're automatically in the cycle, whether you want to be or not. You're automatically overexposed. So that's why we have things in our phones and that can say, hey, you've been on this app for 30 minutes. You met your limit for today. You have those settings. But do you really have to have those settings? Are we not in control of our own time to the point where we don't have to pick it up at dinner, pick it up everywhere we go? You're thinking about your timeline. It's too much. You are processing more faces and opinions and more information than humans historically have processed for months in just like a day. More faces, emotions, opinions, whether good or bad, more information. Is just information overload sometimes. How do you streamline that? This is cognitive overload. Your brain is having to make too many decisions too fast and seeing too much in a 3-second span. So just imagine. It would be interesting for them to put how many videos you strolled today. Like, even if you didn't stop on them, I would like to see the stats on that. Like, instead of showing me the stats on, like, engagement and all this, show me the stats on how many times I strolled or, you know what I mean? I think that would be more helpful to people. But, they're not going to give you stats to help you mentally. They want you to stay on it. They don't want you to run away from the platform. You know what I mean? Just something to think about, right? Cognitive overload. Decision fatigue. You have so many decisions that you can't make a decision because It's just too many decisions. That's decision fatigue, the lack of focus, and anxiety. Because you feel now you feel like you're behind. You feel like, oh, I got to do more, or, all your attention is going to what you absorb from when you're influenced, when you have all this propaganda in your face, and when you're overexposed. So take back your control. Know these different chemical reactions that are happening when you have this little casino in your pocket called TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all these different things. Just know your limit. Take your time and do something creative. Remember, 90% creative, 10% engaging. Not 90% engaging, 10% creative. That's totally backwards for what your brain should be doing. You have a very important brain here. It's capable to do so much, and it's also capable of being manipulated. It's also capable of losing the attention and being in a loop of just, it feels like you're being rewarded when you're not. You're not doing anything rewarding in your life. Maybe you're rewarding all of the creators, but are you rewarding yourself by just like creating something yourself, and taking your time back? So your attention is your life, as you can see here. So what is the solutions to rebuilding control? Let's go over these, and then I'm going to be out. Number 1, time restriction. Limit the exposure to control windows. We said that earlier. This is going to reduce the dopamine spikes. For me, on my first day of like a distraction-free day, just picking up the phone for 30 minutes, that was kind of tough. Versus like whenever you want to all day. So you got to put yourself on some time restrictions. And if you can't do that, at least before bed and first thing in the morning, try to have your own morning routine before you add the algorithm to your routine. Make sure you look in the mirror, wash your face, speak some affirmations. Do something that you want to do for you. Take care of you first before you take care of the algorithm. Number 2, effort-based rewards. So engage in activities that require effort. Working on your business, exercising, learning. This is why people don't want to learn. It's hard to sit down and learn and be in a classroom for an hour. People don't do that because it's just like, oh, I want to do something easy. I'd rather just go to work and make this money. They don't want to learn a skill that's going to increase the amount you get paid for your time. So now you can spend your time doing other things that you like. But it's just like, oh, no, I don't have the attention span. So take back your attention span, guys. Restore your dopamine sensitivity, because right now it's being hijacked. Your dopamine sensitivity is like not there. You got to take it back. Number 3, reduce stimulus density. So reduce the amount of stimulus you're putting into your eyesight, into your brain every single day, because everything you watch is a stimulant, and it's going to cause a reaction, a release of some form. Normally that's dopamine. Okay, so less input is going to be better cognitive processing. And we have 2 left. Number 4 is stillness. Meditating, yoga, just grounding. This is all going to activate your parasympathetic nervous system. So it shifts you from like a stressful mindset to like a recovery mindset where you're just still, you're training your brain to be okay with boredom. Versus like, oh, I'm bored, let me pick up my phone. Oh, I'm bored, let me pick up my phone. Oh, I'm bored all day. Oh, this is funny. Oh, this is bad. Oh, this happened. Oh, all day, So go back to a peaceful, calm state of mind where you're in control of the algorithm and you are creating versus, being influenced and propagated on. And the last one is attention training. Again, attention is your life. So practice sustained focus If you only have a 3-second focus right now, start with 15 minutes. Try to do 15 minutes of work without picking up your phone. And then go even longer. This is going to help you rebuild those neural pathways so that you can concentrate better. Because it's hard to sit down and do work for long periods of time if your attention is lacking or if you're constantly distracted by this casino in your pocket. Okay, guys? So, in summary, what we're dealing with is not a lack of discipline. Like me, I was like, dang, I can't be consistent. But it's not that I can't be consistent, it's that I have too many distractions. Sometimes you're doing too much and you need to focus, streamline, and have clarity about your future. We live now in a system that is designed to fragment our attention, is designed to hijack your attention, is designed to hijack your dopamine neurotransmitter system so that you're getting the anticipation of rewards with not ever getting the reward. You know, unless you're on the content creator side, but even then, you must be careful in this game because you can even get caught up in constantly having to get on a platform and work and do all these things and not taking care of yourself. Fabby Speaks, thank you for joining the fan club and getting that daily heart me. I really appreciate it. So now we understand the mechanism. We understand dopamine. We understand influence. We understand propaganda. And you have a choice, guys. You have a choice to continue reacting or to start controlling. It is your choice. Why? Because attention is the most valuable biological resource. And where you place your attention determines your outcome. So where are you going to place your attention today? Thank you for reposting. Where are you going to place it today? Are you training your brain today, or is your environment training you? Ask yourself that question. Am I training my brain, or is my environment training me today? All right. So I know yesterday I made my decision to eliminate distractions. I made my decision to, be 90% creative and 10% engaging. So I'm not here to be influenced. I want to influence, and that's how you do it. Okay? So I hope this topic, I know it was a little like sciencey, but I try to keep it less sciencey. But hopefully you take back your attention because this is your life. Take back your time. And I'm interested to see what you create. I'm interested to see how you utilize your time after realizing that your whole dopamine system has been hijacked. All right. So if y'all got any questions, put them in the chat. Thank you for tapping those hearts. Fabby Speaks. We are wrapping it up here. And then I'm going to get off of here, but thank you for the roses. I appreciate it. Thank you for the roses. Thank you for the roses. All right, guys. Well, make sure you brush and floss your teeth today. I hope you are following the Hooded podcast. I will be back tomorrow morning with another topic. Tomorrow we are talking about successful versus excuseful. It's just a little word I made up, excuseful, because I realize some people are full of excuses. So we don't want to be excuseful. We want to be successful. So that's our topic tomorrow. I got to get off of here, get ready for my day, or finish getting ready for my day. But this is done. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a troll distracting me this whole time, and I had to ignore his ass the whole time because I could not figure out how to block him. So I had to turn my chat off over here because I was like, I'm not going to stop what I'm talking about for this troll. So sometimes you gotta just push through. Today I had to push through with the topic and realize, hey, if I engage with this troll and get distracted, I'm not focusing on what I need to do. So eventually the troll left. But yeah, I'm out of here. Bye. Let's see how many hearts we got. Did we meet our goal of 1K hearts? Hey, we met our goal of 1K. I love it. 1.1K hearts. You guys rock. Bye. Bye, guys.
You can't copyright blood or creed. They try to rename us box of sin, erase the truth and profit then. But memory live in the soil deep. Every mouth still got secrets to keep. So when we rise, it's answers to math. Every step forward undo the past. We ain't asking, we taking it back. Say it with me, I need you bad. Need you bad, need you bad, need you bad. Oh, yeah. I need you bad. Who still stands? Still stand. Who's left? Say it again. Who been here? Who still stands? Still stand. Who's left? Yeah. I need you back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, yeah. Yeah, I need you back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know we all blessed. The pyramid standing tall, yeah, crack. Turtle Island strong, yeah, fat. From the soil to the stars, we back. I need you back. Get it going, get it poppin'. EG ain't stopping. Truth keep knocking. Say it clear, say it raw.